Hey everybody! In today's video, I am going to show you two different ways to use reactive inks with a gel press. Now, I don't know if you know this, but these Hero Hues reactive inks come in the mini cubes. And let me tell you a little something about myself. I love miniature anything, and miniature ink cubes are a great way to get a lot of ink for a very small amount of money. Now, what's fun about the reactive cubes is they let you try reactive ink before you buy the big pads if you choose. And since reactive ink has different properties from the regular ink that you stamp with, this is a fun way to purchase these inks. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you that, of course, water reactive inks react with water. That's why they're called water reactive inks. So I have sprayed the ink on my gel press with water, and I'm going to press it on paper. And what you're going to see is that great texture that you get from water reactive inks, but you're also going to see the ink spread out a little bit. And I'm going to show you a different way to do this so you still get the fun texture from reactive inks, but maybe with a little more precise look, because we crafters, we like to be precise. So this one is not super precise, the purple one that I did, but I'm going to show you how to make that happen. But first, we'll try it again with water, this time with a different color scheme. I have put together little groupings that I think are super cute, and you can buy these in little sets as well. And this just is a fun way to make a background. So here I'll be doing orange, pink, and yellow and making this precise little grouping. Now, you could also use these ink cubes to do direct to paper, but it would have a very different look than it has when you're transferring it on a gel press. For one thing, you would have to sort of scrape the ink pad against the paper to get a very intense amount of color. You can't just stamp these fun little squares like I'm doing here. So it is a different process if you're wondering why I didn't just put the ink pad down on the paper. Now here you can see I added quite a bit more water, and so I got a little more ink smushing. But we're going to do a fun finishing technique if that's bothering you at all. So you can also do a little ghost stamping with what's left on your gel press. Now I am cleaning my little gel press in between. I just have this on an acrylic block, and that is because I don't want to contaminate my other ink pads. So here I have a grouping of greens and blues, and you can do this with any gel press. I chose the gel press Petite because it adheres so well to a stamp block, and it's the perfect size for making my little squares. So it's fun to make patterns with these little ink pads as well. So here I will make another. It's sort of like quilting with ink, honestly. This is like a little quilt. It's fun. So I'll put the fourth one down there. And this time I am going to spray these with rubbing alcohol instead of water, and we're just going to see what the difference is. Now, this is a technique that I've used with my gel press many times before because it activates water reactive inks, but it also has fast drying properties, and so you don't get as much spreading. I actually have a video that I'll link you to in the blog post where I do sort of an impressionist technique with these inks and alcohol, and it's a fun technique to use with the gel press. So let's redo some of the color schemes that I did before, and we'll do them with alcohol, and then at the end you'll be able to see the difference. It does not matter what percentage of rubbing alcohol you use for this technique. Mine is 70%, but it doesn't really matter. So we will go back to this fun combination of pinks and oranges and yellows. And look how precise. Don't those little precise squares on the gel press just make you happy? They make me happy. Now I'm spraying off camera because I don't want to spray alcohol directly onto my cardstock. And I'm giving it a light mist. And then you can see already through the gel press as I'm pressing this down how much more precise this one is. And where I didn't get good pressure on that pink because it's on a clear block, I can just press that down again and fill in that little spot. So look how precise those are, but with the fun water reactive texture that you get versus the two that I did with water. That's a pretty big difference. So depending on what look you're going for, if you want a super arty watercolor look, use water. But if you like the kind of more precise look and still get the fun texture from the reactive inks, alcohol is your friend. So now we will redo the purple one. I love this purple combo because there's that one warm color in there of berry smoothie that is so much fun. So I'm putting these kind of in the same order that I did them in before, just so that we can really truly compare with the scientific method. You know how that is. So on this one, I am going to just use one color at a time, and I'm going to create just a larger quilt around this one purple sample that I had done before. Now these are fun if you want to later cut them up, die cut them, use your infinity dies to cut out just a bunch of fun little colors. So it's actually sort of like swatching. Like if you had a swatch of all of the fun purples and sort of warm purples that you have in this set, this is a fun way to do a little swatch. And then you could just write the names on here. But I'm just going to expand this out so that I can use it as a background, and it will be super duper cute. Now, when you're doing this, if you only have 4 colors, pay attention. I wasn't paying that great attention when I started doing this to where these colors were. Since I only have 4, you have a little bit of a math problem in that you need to determine where each color is going to go so that you don't have 2 of the same color next to each other. But if you like to craft more than you like to do math, then just fly by the seat of your pants like I did here, and then sort of box yourself into a corner when it gets to the end. But no one was harmed in the process of me not paying attention, and it all works out just fine. Spoiler alert, everything's fine. Now, the other thing that might happen, and you're going to see it in the upper right-hand corner, is a little bit of an alignment issue. So you can see how that third square on the top row wasn't exactly aligned with one below it, but I'll show you how to fix that. You can actually just easily overstamp that. And if you're wondering what my strategy is for where to put these squares, as I'm watching this back, I have literally no idea why I was doing it in this pattern. So this is not part of the technique. But you can see how much texture I'm getting with the alcohol in each one of these squares. It is such a fun look to get that water reactive splotchy look on there. By the way, my cat is named Splotchy, so that's a word that's near and dear to my heart. But I love that you can do it with the alcohol and just have it be so much neater than it is with water if you're trying to do something super precise, like a little quilt of squares. So here I chose to line that darker purple up with the square below it because I can see that the problem is with the lighter color, but it really is easy to fix, and you'll see how I do that in just a minute. So now here, if you want to just stick with the same color and sort of move around the map so that you can figure out where your next color needs to go, that's what I did here. Now I'm going to just overstamp with the same color and cover up that little bit of white, and it's just fine. I might make this into a Valentine. We'll see. So now I can see that I do not have that warm violet. It's fine if it's on the diagonal. So that works great. So you can see how cute that's going to be when it's die cut, and I can just put a stamped image over to that one that bled just a little bit. But here again is the one with the water. One of the ways that you can sort of make this look like it was a deliberately arty technique, if you like that look, is just do some quick sketched lines all around this square. This is one of my favorite ways to sort of cover up uneven edges And on this one in particular, it's such a grouping of happy colors that I wanted to save it. So I'm just doing that with a fine point Sharpie, just going around the edge of it. And then it looks like I intended to do this all along. Easy, quick, takes no skill whatsoever, and it will be a super fun background. So there's one of the alcohol ones in the blue, also the purple. Here's a finished card or two with the results. So I hope you try the little mini ink cubes for reactive ink techniques. Head over to the Hero Arts blog for more information. And thanks so much for watching.